Welcome, everybody. It is the 2 o'clock afternoon class here in the Villages, and we are in book number 274. The song for today is Lollipops and Roses on page 160, and it is a waltz. What else do we know about it? It was composed by Tony Vallona in 1960. It's not a real old, super old song. The best-known version was a Grammy Award-winning recording by Jack Jones in 1962, and it went to number 12 on the Easy Listening chart. It was also done by Steve Lawrence in 1963, and then other people also covered it. People that we know: Perry Como, 1962, Doris Day, 1964, Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass in 65, and Natalie Cole did a really pretty version in 2008. So this is a waltz, and you're going to hear it a couple different ways today, because when I listened to it, it was like, wow, it really goes the gamut from very slow and sexy to very fast and peppy and bouncy. So yeah, you can play this pretty much any way you want. Any way you want. So I'm going to give you several different versions. All right, so first of all, get out your colors. Oh, here comes Sue Kelly. Whoops, wait a minute. What happened? Did she come in? Sue Kelly, did you get in? I didn't get a chance to hit that. Nope, something happened. She disappeared. Huh. She's been having problems getting onto some of the Zooms lately. All right, so get out your colors, because what we are going to do is we are going to do the road map. Follow the lyrics, and unfortunately, this book did not print all of the lyrics. So if you want the extra ones, I highly recommend you go to YouTube. They do have the lyrics printed there for several of them, for several of the versions, and you can just write them down, or you can actually go to A to Z lyrics. Go to a site called A through Z lyrics and just print them out. All right, so you're going to play line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5, next page, all the way to the double lines in the middle of line 4. You've got those 2 double lines. That's where you go back, and it's got some instructions. It says DC al coda. Go back to the beginning of the song. So in between the 3/4 and the very first note, you want to make that same color. Now we are looking for the 2 coda. Remember, codas only send you forward. You never go backwards. You never go back to a coda. So now you're going to do 1, 2, 3, and on the 4th line, between the 2nd and 3rd measure, it says 2 coda, and you're just going to jump across the page to the coda, which is the final ending, and finish the song. So nothing too hard as far as following the road map. Any questions on that? No? Okay. I also printed out, or hand wrote out, a nice little introduction, although you don't really need one. I do have it. And I'm not doing an arrangement per se, because you really don't need one on this. This one actually is just going to be more about how many different waltzes can you use on this? And the answer is yes, all of them. You can use every waltz in the book. The first way that I listened to it was the original Jack Jones version. And he really was a slow, sexy torch singer on this one. So I decided to choose Strings 101 3/4. Remember, it has to be a waltz. And I've got it at 90. I think he sang it even slower than this, but when you slow it down too much on an instrumental, it starts to drag. But this, I think, is still pretty enough that I think it's going to work. It's just one of those songs that gets stuck in your head. Now you'll be singing it all day.
Time for the big dip.
What was that?
It's time for the big dip at the end of the
Oh, the
song.
big dip? Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a gorgeous song. It really is. All right, let's do some extra chords. Yeah. Why? Because I can. And it's not my chords. Remember, I get these from other sources. So they're optional. You do not need to put them in. But if you want to push yourself a little bit, let's do something extra. You may put a 7 on that very first D minor. C, D, and F. The G can be a 7. And then I crossed out the C chord in the next measure and played the E minor 7. So that means you want to cross out the C but put a box around the E minor or the E minor 7. I think it sounds so much prettier. The A minor is fine, exactly where it is. Second line, cross out the A7 and replace it with C sharp diminished. C sharp diminished, which is 2 fingers, C sharp and G. Remember the rules for diminished are the letter plus 6. So C sharp plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. C sharp and G, and then always check in your window to make sure that you've got the right chord. Measure 3. Once again, you have that C on the bottom and the E minor on the top. Cross out the C and put a box around the E minor or the E minor 7. Let's go to the third line. The G, second measure, can be a G7, or if you want to get really technical, you could do it a G7 flat the 9. Oh boy, how do you play that one? It's 4 fingers. And your notes are F, G, A flat, and B. Fish, gorilla, flat alligators, and butterflies. But it's kind of hard to play without actually getting yourself into a no chord situation. Sometimes when you get notes that close together, it turns into a no chord. You end up cutting everything out. So a G7 is actually the easiest one to play. But what's the difference in sound? Here's a G. Here's a G7. Here's a G7 flat 9. It's very subtle. Very subtle. So don't even worry about it too much. The C, you may put a major 7 on the C. C major 7, C and B. The rule for major 7s is the letter minus 1. The F minor, cross it out. We're going to replace it with a 4-fingered chord, D minor 7 flat the 5th. It's not that bad. You can play it 2 different ways, but let's play it. Doesn't matter which way. D, dinosaur. F, fish. A, flat alligators. And C, chicken. And you can put the C on the bottom. Doesn't make any difference. Now it's funny if you notice, if you play it in root position, the 2 middle notes actually form the F minor. So if you're not crazy about 4-fingered chords, play the F minor instead. Line 4, make that C a C major 7, C and B. The third measure of that line, make that C also a C major 7, C and B. Last line on that page, second measure. Cross out the E and replace it with A minor or A minor 7 for 1 measure. And then the last measure of the page over the blacked in quarter note, now put the E or E7 back in. Let's go to the top of page 2. Make the A an A major 7. A major 7, the letter minus 1, so it's G sharp and A. Those are fun jazz chords. They're easier to play than they are to write, actually. The B flat minor is D flat and B flat, and if you wish to play the B flat minor 7, it is D flat, A flat, and B flat. D flat, A flat, and B flat. Then you have an E flat 7, D flat, and E flat. Second line, the A flat, you can make it an A flat major 7. So your notes would be G and A flat for one measure. The next measure over that whited in half note, go back to a plain old A flat. So you're going from this to this. Very subtle. Can't even hardly tell depending on what sounds you're using on the lower. Third measure, cross out the F and replace it with that C minor 7 that's on top of it. Just put a box around it so you know to play it. C minor 7. C, E flat, and B flat. And then in the next measure, you have an F7. Put a box around that one so you play it. E flat and F, E flat and F. All right, let's go to the third line. The B flat, you can make it a B flat major 7. A and B flat for 2 whole measures. The last 2 chords on that line are perfect right where they are. Let's go to the coda. The very first C over Lollipops, make it a C major 7, C and B, and that's it. If you're using an introduction, you're going to start the song with a C chord because it is in the key of C. Do not start it with the D minor. You're going to totally change the atmosphere of the song if you do that. So start it with that C chord. That is the key of the song. Or you can use the introduction that I hand wrote out for you here from a different arrangement. Okay.
Dawn,
Yeah.
could you mention again the other backgrounds that you said you could use
Yep.
if you don't use strings 101?
Strings 101 is 3/4. Strings 101, 3/4. You have to use a waltz. And that one was the slowest one. And that one I did at 90. Then I did one that was more like the Natalie Cole version. And I used the lullaby. That's a lot more like the way she sang it, believe it or not. And I did it at about 94. And if you use that version, it's going to sound like this. It just lightens it up. On the bottom, you have a real pretty flute. That just makes it a lot lighter from the last one that I did. That was that big fat orchestra. This was just a little bit on a lighter side. And then,
are you using preset 0?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that was preset 0, but feel free to press any of them.
What is lullaby under?
Lullaby is waltz. All of these are under waltz.
Oh.
Yeah, you have to do a waltz on this. I tried to do a 4/4 on this. I thought, let me try it. It doesn't work because your brain keeps taking you back to that 3/4. So
Sure.
you want to do this when it's most definitely a waltz. So then I went to a jazz waltz all the way up to 140. 140. Or you could use like a big band waltz, same type of a beat. And that one gives it a little bit more of a jazzed up flair. So you could do it like that. Now, the fastest one I did was a modern jazz waltz at 154. And I don't think I used the rhythm preset on that. I did not. I used preset. Shoot, what preset did I use? I maybe went to a category. Because I have a jazz guitar with sax and flugel on the bottom. And the reason I did that is because I wanted it to sound more like the Tijuana Brass. And they just danced on it. Da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum. They're really doing a heavy-duty staccato. So if you want to listen to a really interesting arrangement, you probably heard it on the radio 1,000 times, was this song by the Tijuana Brass. I get caught up in the background on this one. That's at 154. So I started at 90 and I went all the way up to 154. So pretty much any waltz at any tempo is going to work on this. So you can jazz it up as much as you want, or you can make it as slow and sexy as you want. Yes, with the big dip at the end. I like that.
What would the tempo be for a Viennese waltz?
Oh, a Viennese waltz. That actually comes up to 180. Now, I don't know if you want to play it that fast. I think that might be a little fast, but let's try it. Yeah, I think I would slow that one down. Let's try
That's fast.
165. But again, make the staccatos on that to make it sound a little more like a Viennese waltz. Play around with it, see what you think. That might even be a little fast for that again, still on that one, because again, you've got lots of strings in that one, and when I hear a lot of strings, I have a tendency to want to slow it down a little bit more. But the Viennese waltz is meant to go faster. I agree. And then that lullaby was good. I even tried it on Bojangles just to see what it would do. That's the one I like to use for the Piano Man. And so it's a whole different thing when you do it on this. And if you noticed, at the end of line 2, if you've got a rhythm that's got a really, really nice fill-in, you might want to add an extra measure or two there, and just each day of the week, and make it a lot longer than what it normally would be. That's your prerogative. Just use a fill-in and let it go. As a matter of fact, the fill-in on the modern jazz waltz is about 100 measures long. Maybe not quite that many, but here's that modern jazz waltz again. Okay, now listen to the fill-in. Gene Krupa comes in and just really does a number. Keeps going and going and going. So if you wanted to put a drum solo, yeah, I mean, it still keeps going. It goes and goes and goes, and it doesn't stop until it comes back with the beginning of that fill-in. But if you just want it to be with the horns, it's about 2 measures long with some great horns and perfect for the Tijuana Brass. And then you can put Gene Krupa in the middle and have him do that great drum solo if you want.
What tempo did you use for the Bojangle?
Bojangles, I did it exactly as it came up, which is 130.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you go back and play it at one of the slower ones, you're going to go, oh, that seems awfully slow. But I absolutely love it in that slow Jack Jones style. Doesn't it seem like I'm dragging it now? Yeah, after playing the fast ones.
Pretty
That's
though.
why I started with that one. Yeah. And if I had to tell you which one was my favorite, it might have to be the slow one. And that's not usually me. But it just really, you get to notice the harmonies a little bit more. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful song.
I skated to this song, and it was a Viennese waltz, and the tempo was 138.
Okay. All right. That sounds
So I was
about
just
right.
wondering. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. Play with that. I think that would be fun. Yeah. And I also liked it on the lullaby. I thought that the Natalie Cole version was actually absolutely beautiful. And if you're unsure which one you like the best, go to YouTube and listen to them. Because, yeah, you'll have an enjoyable hour just listening to one song. I did not do an extravagant arrangement on this one. First of all, not a lot of time. So thank you for your patience on that. We are trying to put together the Dennis Aw Show, and it is taking up a lot of our time. So which is probably why Joni decided to upend her class tomorrow, because she's got her show today, and I know she spent a lot of time on that as well. Yep. Okay. I will give you fingering. This is a fast class today. My apologies. Next week we will do Longer by Danny Fogelberg. Yeah, that should be a good one too. Yep. Okay. Any questions? Have fun exploring all your waltzes. That's what this song is about. It sounds good slow. It sounds good fast. It sounds good with just about everything. And just truly enjoy playing this song. Next week we're going to do Longer. Longer. Dan Fogelberg. And don't believe it when I always tell people, do not read the little registration thing at the beginning. It says rhythm, rocker, 8-beat. I don't think so.
Is that Longer?
Longer, yes. Yep, Dan Fogelberg. He wrote it, he sang it. And it is not a rock and roll song, so don't even go there.
That was sung at my daughter's wedding.
Isn't that a beautiful song? Yeah. Yep. The lyrics are fabulous. Okay, stick around if you need fingering. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming. Can't do it without you. No Wednesday class this week because I will be in Wildwood watching Dennis Aw. But
Thank you very much.
I will have class Tuesday and Friday, so join me for those. All right. Thanks, everybody. Stick around for fingering. Get your pencils out. Here we go. A2, C4, A2, B3, B3, D5, B3, C4, check mark, C sharp 2, E4, C sharp 2. Now there's two different ways to go up the hill. Let's do D3, E1 with a circle. That is a thumb tuck. F2, G3, B5, G3, A4. All right, third line, A1, E3. It's a long stretch, but you can do it because we got to keep going higher. D2, F4, E2, E2, G4, F3, A flat 5. Check mark. Next line, G5, C2, 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 G1, 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 C2, 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 G5, I'm sorry, G1. That would be kind of weird. G1, C2, D3, E4, B2, A1, B2, C sharp 3, E flat 4, I guess, B flat 2, A flat 1, C3, C3, F5, C3, B flat 2, third line C3, D4. The next D can be a 4 or a 5, A2, fourth line D5, G1, and your coda G1, C2, C2, or whatever finger you want, C2, G1, and C2, or again, whatever finger gets there first. Okay. This is a fun song to play. I remember Daun did this one in concert once. It's really a truly upbeat, fun, beautiful song. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel good to play it slow. It makes you feel good to play it fast. So just play it and enjoy it. You guys are the bestest. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Daun,
Yeah,
could you please do the first two lines fingering?
absolutely. First two lines. A2, C4, A2, B3, B3, D5, B3, C4. Check mark. Second line. C sharp 2, E4, C sharp 2, D3, E1 with a circle, F2, G3, B5, G3, A4. Now there's another way to do that. You can go up the line. If you've got your second finger on the C sharp and you're going up the line, instead of going to the 3 and then tucking, you can tuck right away and do a D1, E2, F3, G4, and B5 straight up the line. Whichever way is more comfortable for you. They both work fine.
Okay.
Dawn,
Yeah.
this is very embarrassing, but I didn't get in till really late, and I'm not sure. I don't know what song you're working on, but it sounded pretty when I heard it. So could you tell me?
Lollipops and Roses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And what background was the slow one you used?
The slow one I used was Strings 101 3
Oh, okay.
quarters. 3
Sure. quarters,
not the regular one. Because
Okay.
it has to be a waltz.
Right. Okay. That's
Yeah.
great. It was beautiful.
Beautiful song. Yep. Yeah.
Thank
Slow
you.
or fast. It works with everything. So this is just one to explore all your waltzes and just have fun.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You guys
I
are awesome.
apologize.
Anybody else?
No, it's a simple song.
Simple song. Yep. Sometimes the simple ones are the best ones. Gives you a break this week. You don't have to work so hard. All right.
Thanks, Dawn.
Dawn,
Take
could I-
care. Email me if you have any questions.
Dawn,